for us.
What's up,
Alrighty,
boys?
boys.
What's going on?
Look at that caterpillar. Like her.
It's good to be back. Gone for a few weeks, missed a few pods, few broadcasts, if you will. Came back and I guess I lost all my beard, and just the stash is left. So
Is it here to stay?
for a little bit, at least, that Movember is always a fun time. And plus, every time, like for Halloween, I was Ron Burgundy. For people who are wondering why did I do this to myself, and so basically just keeping it, keeping it maybe through a little bit of November. I think would be fun. Yeah. Mix it up,
dude. My shoot.
You can see.
All right. Anyways, we're returning my Halloween costume. I was the Grinch for Halloween.
You're doing the classic return.
Dude, they didn't even take it. I got it back for free, and they refunded me.
Nice.
Cool. Really? So now I'm gonna be the Grinch every year for Halloween.
Yeah. You wore the
mask
for all of 10 seconds.
Well, now I can cut a hole in the mouth because it's free.
Access the beers.
I'm mad I voted on a recycled costume. I put my vote in, and Drew's like, yeah, they wore that last year. I was like, oh.
Dude. Oh, you're voting for Samantha's boyfriend. That guy loves me.
He's awesome.
I don't even know why.
He's a good senior.
Yeah, he's like police officer.
That's a costume last year.
Have you went skydiving? I seen.
Yeah. Yes, that's part of the reason why I've been gone for so long. Went skydiving. And let me tell you, the stomach turning of actually falling out of the plane was just unreal. Like I really wasn't too nervous during the whole thing, but once they open the door, it's just, and you can hear the wind going past the plane, and it's just deafening. And then you step out like on a little ledge. You don't actually jump out. You literally do just like roll. Like you just roll forward and do like a little somersault. Then you're just like kind of flipping through the air, and it is nuts. It's
I'm
so
scared thinking about that.
When I went, I basically just went up accepting that I may or may not die.
A little dark and depressing.
I was terrified, but Taylor jumped out first, so I knew I had to go.
Anya went first too, my girlfriend. I'm like, I have to go. There's no way that we can just land safely on like the terminal or whatever. I never hear the end of it.
And the planes they take you up in are usually just like look like they're made of paper, just nothing in them. Did you have all the seats ripped out?
Oh yeah, it was
just
like there's no space in the plane. And I think they literally do that to get you out of the plane, so it's not comfy.
Yeah,
that's actually like happened to me before, where like not skydiving, but going down a big water slide called the Point of No Return, and I was the last one to go, and I returned, fellas. I walked out. Like you guys are like, oh, I have to go now. I would be like, I'll ride this till we land. We're good. Not doing that.
I'm sitting my cheeks in the plane.
Cody, where was that? Was that the Dells?
Yeah, that's somewhere in the Dells, something like that. It's called the Point of No Return.
Yeah,
oh no, it was a water slide, and like I felt the motherfucker shake as I was at the top. Not good for me. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm returning.
Yeah,
that's right. You literally, I remember
like, oh man. All right, boys.
Hilarious.
Let's get into some.
The amount of excuse me, that you probably had to drop on your way. It's like a walk of shame, to be honest.
Walk of shame, but I had none. I was just glad I was going to be safe. Oh man,
that's true. Living to tell the tale.
All righty, boys. I'm getting the news and notes. Today was a big day for NFL trades. It's the most trades ever done on a trade deadline day, with 10. Do you guys have any that like you think would impact fantasy a lot? Off the top of my head, I would think maybe the Hawkinson trade.
Yeah, that one's the big one.
Because I mean, Irv Smith Jr. He was doing well. I know he was streamed earlier in the season, but he kind of became more of a reliable play at tight end. He went down. I would like to think that Hawkinson's a better player, so maybe his numbers get up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, he didn't.
He really only had one big week.
Last week he did all right. I think he had like 80 yards. He had a big catch last week. But
yeah, I actually. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's really gonna. It'll probably boost up his fantasy a little bit, but I don't know if it's gonna be crazy.
Naheem Hines was swapped in a deal with the Bills. They traded Zach Moss and a conditional 6th round pick. I'm not really sure what the Bills are planning to do. I would assume use Hines, but James Cook kind of has that role, I feel like, already, unless they're planning not on using the rookie.
Dude, James Cook looks good.
Yeah, I think it's just like playoff depth. Like they know they're almost a shoo-in for the playoffs. Now they're just building running back depth. Like we saw similar moves like this with Kansas City the past few years, where they brought in some vets, like veteran pass catchers to veteran pass catching running backs. There it is, a little rusty. You just kind of build depth in that backfield. You know, that's why Lev Bell got another shot in the league. So I think it's just one of those moves. But one move that go ahead.
Going. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna bring up the Chase Edmonds trade. So Chase Edmonds to the Broncos. Honestly, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Me personally, I think it's going to be Melvin Gordon and Chase Edmonds now going forward in that backfield. That probably kind of takes out Latavius Murray, in my opinion.
And Mike Boone.
And Mike.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what they're going to do with that backfield now. I would assume Melvin's probably going to keep his same role, but Chase Edmonds kind of be like the third down back. I don't know why the Broncos keep playing Melvin Gordon as a starting running back. I think
Latavius looks
out there.
I think Latavius looks better than Melvin Gordon right now.
You're correct.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally.
I think it's just going to be a complete mess.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't. This trade doesn't really affect this year's fantasy football, but Calvin Ridley, who was suspended this year, got traded to the Jags.
So really, what'd they get for him?
It's the weirdest trade like ever. So like, there's so many like clauses in it that it's a 5th, and it could lead to a 2nd. If he signs a long-term deal, it'll be a 2nd round pick. If he makes the team in 2023, it's at least a 3rd round pick, and then there's something else where it's like a 4th and a 5th. But basically, it's probably going to be a 2nd and a 5th.
That's nuts, dude.
Yeah,
I don't think we'll see a trade like that again for a while.
No, I mean that's a pretty good. Like, might as well ship him up. Like, if I'm the Falcons, like, might as well ship him off. I mean, you're not getting anything out of him the rest of the year, and you get what could be 2 solid picks. Like, a 2nd round pick is honestly pretty incredible for a team that's going to be rebuilding, in my opinion, coming up here.
Yeah.
You mean the team that's going to be winning the division this year?
Honestly, what a world that we live in, that division's just the worst in the NFC East is actually like very, very good in terms of records.
Yeah. And then another trade went down. It was a big day for trades. Jeff Wilson was traded to Miami for a 5th round pick. How do you see that backfield kind of shaking out?
Raheem Mostert probably just keeps it right now. I mean, I like the Jeff Wilson pickup just for a stash because Miami's got like one of the best running back schedules going forward. But I feel like he's just going to jump into the Chase Edmonds role. But who knows? Those two duked it out before.
Those coaches are such good of friends. They'll just keep swapping backs till the end of time.
Honestly, I do think it's still Raheem Mostert's backfield. And Drew, like you mentioned, the next 3 games that the Dolphins have are just incredible for running backs. They're at Chicago, at home versus Cleveland, and then at home versus Houston.
Yeah.
Like, give me all of Raheem Mostert. That is so good.
I think you can go trade for him right now. That's going to help you get to the playoffs.
Yep.
Oh, definitely.
And then we'll see how much fantasy relevance it has. Chase Claypool to the Chicago Bears. Chicago the past couple weeks looked better on offense. I guess it's something to keep an eye on. They've been kind of looking for a receiver that can win some of those 50-50 balls. And Chase, he didn't really do a lot of that for the Steelers. But, I mean, he's still like another good body in there. He's had 2 back-to-back years of 800 yards. So it's something to keep an eye on.
I feel like it's going to do more for Justin Fields than boost up like Chase Claypool's value.
Yeah.
I feel like Justin Fields is going to be – I mean, we'll get into it later, but
I was gonna say we'll definitely get into Justin Fields later. But in terms of the trade, like I think it's definitely a win-win for both teams. I think the Steelers are kind of punting this season as well. At least they're going to. So might as well get those picks and build up the team. They're already a super young team. So might as well just kind of build it up. And a second-round pick for Chase Claypool, I think, is like that's paying up a little bit, in my opinion. He's worth a second. But regardless, pretty fair.
It's pretty rare for like a guy to get for a team to get back the compensation that they used to draft the guy with.
yeah.
And I think with the pick that they got, it's the Bears pick, so it could be a top 50 pick. And I think if I remember correctly, Claypool was picked 49th. So I mean, really good for the Steelers. The Bears kind of needed another guy. It's their first sign of like helping Justin Fields in his development. They've kind of shown that they believe in him a little bit now. But yeah, Justin Fields could be a guy to stream for quarterbacks if needed.
I think the Bears are they're just like the Packers in that they just typically don't make a ton of moves in their history. They usually just build through the draft. So it's interesting that they're trying to commit to it's good that they're trying to build a actual real receiving core around Justin Fields.
Yeah,
I feel like they just did it to just spite the Packers. I feel like they probably didn't even want him.
That's part of it.
They probably knew we wanted him, so they were like, "Let's go get him."
Apparently, the Packers also offered a second-round pick, but I guess they thought the Bears would end up being worse. I don't know.
Packers and Bears I think they have the same record, don't they? Both 3-5.
Yeah, both 3-5. Packers on a 4-game skid. Bears are looking like better recently. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean their offense is starting to do a lot more. Who would have thought that if you actually use your quarterback the way that he's gifted, you can have results. But
there's examples all around the league on how to use a guy like this. Maybe we should start doing it.
We're like, let's make him a pocket passer. Actually, no, let's make him pass 9 times a game, even, and not run.
Let's make him like Eli Manning, but worse.
That was wild.
Alrighty. We can go into this next kind of segment we're gonna do. The most disappointing players from the fantasy year. Is there a position you guys would want to start off with first?
I guess I don't really have a preference. I would say maybe we just kick it off at running back because there's a few that I'm sure we really dive into here.
Yeah, I can lead us off with running back, I guess. I'm going to go with a lot of the first picks in fantasy drafts across the world. Some people wanted McCaffrey. They probably should have. But Jonathan Taylor has probably been one of the more disappointing unanimous first overall selections. For whatever reason, just has not got it going. He got injured, I think, a few weeks ago, ankle injury, but for whatever reason, even how the Colts used them, they used Nyheim Hines in some red zone touches, which is insane. I mean, what was he offensive player of the year last year or MVP of the year? He was an MVP.
wasn't MVP, but I'm pretty sure he had a few votes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Jonathan Taylor didn't really get going until like the second half of the year last year, where he like really took off. But yeah, I mean that had to be the first guy we brought up because he was either one or two in every draft, pretty much across all leagues, and he just hasn't been that guy. And we've talked about it in the past. If you have a top 5 pick, you need that guy to produce so bad because you're not picking for a while after that.
Right.
Yeah.
And like we're talking, in my opinion, I think we're talking like one of the most disappointing first overall picks ever. Because he's not, I mean, sure, he has like he's been a little banged up, but it's not like a season ending injury where in the past, if you think about like David Johnson, running back for the Cardinals back in the day, when he was the number 1 overall pick and then he got injured for the season. Like that's understandable. McCaffrey, yeah, but this one's just, I think, lack of performance.
He's been out there. Yeah, he's been out there not doing anything.
Right.
My thing is I think he's still injured, and it's just gonna linger on for like a lot of the season if he just doesn't shut it down for a little bit, because he had an ankle sprain. And I think he just wanted to get back because he was so used to not having, like, he never was injured even in high school, and this was like his first big thing, and I think he just jumped back into it, and it's just going to keep lingering unless he just shuts it down for a couple weeks. But
and it's crazy that they, going into this year, everybody thought like they're getting Matt Ryan. That's an upgrade over Wentz. The offense should be better. Hopefully he's better as well. And all those things were wrong.
Yeah.
I got a
Colts
stat.
Colts were a lot of people's picks to win this division, and it is not looking good.
I have his stats pulled up here. He's played 6 games this year out of 8. He has 2 games of 12 points and above. That was week 1 and then week 7.
Well, he went like crazy week 1.
Yeah. And then week 2, he had 6.8. Kansas City had 10. Against Tennessee, he had 2.8 from the number 1 pick in the league. And he had 20 carries. It's not like he's not getting used. He's just like not doing anything with the ball and like getting stuff. It's insane.
20 carries. And who they played that game? Like the 82 Bears?
Basically. Running it like a bear goal line defense. I don't know.
No, yeah, like legitimately 82 live Grizzly Bears with it. Like,
oh, well, maybe this Clint texted in.
Is that
Ed Hall over there?
Me? I wish. I wish.
I was thinking maybe this Nyheim Hines trade might help out a little bit of his. Maybe he gets a couple more passing catches during the games. I don't know.
I thought that too until they're like, yeah, they're getting Zach Moss in return. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing here, Colts, dude?
Zach Moss is trash, dude.
Yeah, Zach Moss he has not been it. But I think it is interesting for at least maybe 2 weeks. Like, that is solo Jonathan Taylor's backfield. Like, you can't just bring someone up to speed like Zach Moss, like a Christian McCaffrey, like the 49ers did.
They still have like Deion Jackson, dude. Deion Jackson was good for fantasy when like a couple times this year he got a ton of catches. So
yeah,
I feel like he'll just slot in. I don't even know if Zach Moss will just be a back. I don't know what they did with that, but
alrighty. Who's got another running back that's been disappointing?
Oh, I definitely have one. So this probably comes as no surprise. Najee Harris.
Oh.
He was, if you remember when we used to record these bad boys and put them on an actual podcast format, he was our like consensus number 2 running back for the year. Behind, I believe we had JT number 1, and then Cody and I had Najee number 2. Najee has just not been performing whatsoever. I know he probably is also in the same boat where he has a nagging injury in his foot, if I'm not mistaken. But he's just not shutting it down. I mean, Jalen Warren, I believe that's how you say the last name of the backup for the Steelers. He's getting more and more work now too. Like Najee is just not the same Najee of last year, and probably one of the bigger disappointments because a lot of people either drafted him, or a lot of people drafted him probably between picks 4 through 8, I would say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Like if you didn't take one of the receivers, you probably took Najee or Derrick Henry. And Najee is my goodness. Just
Najee, he's been he's played in all the games this year. He has 1 touchdown. And he has 0 games where he scored 12 points and above. 0.
I mean, that truly just kills you. Like there's nothing that you can do. Like you can't counteract that.
Yeah. The only thing that would save somebody if they took him that early is like if you had like a good keeper like later that like saved you or something like that. But he's
almost untradeable, dude.
I've seen people comparing him to like Trent Richardson and like what happened to him.
Yeah.
Like and that's just Twitter and people being funny, but like he has been that bad. Like there's a play on Sunday where he caught the ball 2 yards from the first down marker, and the other guys were like running in, and he did like 3 jukes in the same spot and got tackled short. It was so like bad. I couldn't imagine like having him on my team. I think I do in one league.
So I actually think I'm just reading Clint's comment. 1 second.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I agree.
Yeah. Jalen Warren looks better.
If you can't see Clint's comment, it says Najee is so much worse because he looks terrible with 0 vision. At least JT looks decent. It's just a bad O-line and not getting the work. So I definitely agree. I think JT. Yeah. I mean, which one are you picking? Like rest of the year, Najee or JT?
Jonathan Taylor, only because the Steelers might not like win a game the rest of the year.
Yeah. Well, actually, correct answer was Antonio Gibson.
Dude, Antonio Gibson looks better now, but I was actually thinking the Steelers' backup running back, Jalen Warren, looks so much better than him. Feed Jalen Warren the ball, dude. He at least looks like he can do something with it.
And also pick Jalen Warren up on all your waiver wires.
I was thinking that he's on bye this week, so I'd wait for another week.
All right, Drew, who do you got as another running back?
Well, Jonathan Taylor is my top guy, but I'm just going to throw out James Conner. He was a freaking disappointment this year, but he's been banged up. All the other 3 guys I was thinking of are all just banged up guys as Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, and James Conner, dude. Like they were all top like 1 to 4 round picks and just been complete disappointments, just ruining your fantasy leagues. I don't know. J.K. Dobbins, we kind of saw it coming. Same with Cam Akers, but not James Conner.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins is definitely one that I was well wrong on that, but James Conner, I did not see that coming.
Well, we knew they were coming back from big injuries with Cam Akers coming with the Achilles and J.K. Dobbins the knee. Now it flared up. That was a disappointment for me. I just dropped him. I wasn't dealing with it anymore. Dude, Gus is back. He's looking all right, and I don't know.
Yeah. And then I guess we got one more before we change positions, unless you guys got some other ones. It's kind of because of injury. He was popping off like a lot early on, but DeAndre Swift, ever since he's been out, he missed like the 3 weeks and then had a bye. And then he came back last week. He put up 11 points, but he only got 10 touches. And then as of today, Dan Campbell said that like his health is just like not there right now, whatever that means. So as someone who is probably like waiting for him to get back, I don't have him in any leagues, but as someone who is like trying to wait for him to get back, win some games until he comes back, that's tough. That's incredibly disappointing.
Right.
I
and
think
the team
I
just
think
loves Jamal Williams too.
Yeah, and
Oh,
that's another
dude.
thing. Could you imagine if like split Jamal Williams touches in half and give him to DeAndre? Oh my gosh, he probably would have got hurt or something earlier, but still, big games.
I was
Right. Jamal
listening to
Williams is like the running back 18 on the year as a backup, just because he just scores so many touchdowns. Like he has 8 touchdowns on the year.
That's
And
ridiculous.
whenever he scores once, he scores twice. So like all those
Yeah.
games that he has scored, he's had 2 touchdowns. Which are like week winning weeks or week winning performances.
You could almost put him in your flex every week.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And he gets the passing work as well.
I don't know. I think Swift will be good down the stretch, though.
I
Would
have
you- Are you
Go ahead.
trading for Swift right now? Because I'm
No,
sure that
I'm-
people are having the same conversations that we are right now.
Depending on who you have. If you got Najee, hell yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm sure someone is kind of sick of waiting for Swift. If you're able to, yeah, maybe I would definitely consider that. Let's see who else. Disappointing, not so. I mean, I just want to. Javonte Williams was like being such a great running back, and then until he went down, it's not really like a insult on him or anything. It's just disappointing that like he was clicking and then just boom, injury.
I had him in my league. That sucked.
Same thing with my guy Brees. Rest up, Brees.
Dude,
Brees
I
Hall, man.
told you, you gotta trade him in one of those leagues in case he goes down.
No, that's
You
my
just couldn't
guy.
let go.
Never. My first child.
My firstborn, a son.
I traded him in a package in one league for Damian Pierce, so I was pretty happy. I lucked out there.
I actually changed my name in one of the leagues that I had Brees in, and I don't know if you guys remember the scene where Gary Bertier like got paralyzed. Just at the press conference is like, you cannot replace a Gary Bertier, and my team name is you cannot replace Brees Hall.
Brees Hall.
That's
nice. That's good.
Alrighty. Next position. Where do we? I mean, I guess we can go quarterbacks or receivers. Drew, which one do you want? You'll start us off.
Oh, if I start off, then I want QB.
All right, let's go QB. Go in.
Russell Wilson. The guy's garbage. The
I was
guy's
about to
garbage.
say, like,
Dude,
when
he's,
you do a drum roll, we know exactly where this is going.
dude, he's literally single-handedly ruined. No, my fantasy teams are fine right now, but like he's gotten me off to such a bad start because I had so much hope in this Broncos offense, along with like everyone else in the fantasy community. Everyone except for Clint. Clint hated the guy from the start. But dude, Russell Wilson, I put so much stock into like Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Javonte, this offense. This guy's a bum, dude. But he's got a good stretch. He's got a good stretch of games coming up. So I don't know. He might end up being all right for fantasy later. I don't know in the next couple games. But
It's also the worst that he's like also a really annoying person. Like,
yeah. Oh my gosh. He's so
Could you
unlikable.
imagine being on that flight where he's just doing high knees? Like
That
on
couldn't
the
have been
flight to
real.
London, if you didn't hear the story, on the flight to London, apparently Russell Wilson was doing like calisthenics, high knees for like 3 full hours on the flight to London while his entire team slept. Like, be a normal person.
one
Just be a
time.
normal person. One
What
time.
a loser, dude.
Like, go to bed. Like,
He's something else. I would say I got a quarterback.
not to
Go
keep
ahead.
talking to Russell Wilson. I actually saw a report that he's like still one of the most likable. I think it's just our brains are ruined by the internet, but like
Yeah.
he's still one of the most likable people in the NFL based on like a majority of like mass public polls.
Really?
Well, I'm sure he's
Yeah.
nice. He's
Right.
probably nice, dude. He just seems like a wiener to me.
I
I
would you
could
ra-
not hang out with that guy.
who would you rather
I-
hang out? Who would you rather hang out with? Him or Tom
Yeah.
Brady?
Tom Brady.
Dude,
That was a bad example.
I'm
Him or
Michael Russell, dude. If Tom,
Really?
I don't know.
Really?
Tom tongue kisses his kids, dude. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, he looks like he has a good time though. Russ is gonna be over in the corner doing squats.
Dude, Tom looks like, I don't know, dude. His face freaks me out. He looks fake all of a sudden this year.
Yeah, he probably did get some plastic surgery or whatever.
Just a little touch up.
Yeah,
Sorry, Cody.
Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers?
I mean Aaron Rodgers, like
I guess. Yeah, probably Rodgers. I'll wear my Dare shirt though, just to set the tone.
Like
Yeah.
the thing about Russ for me is like I don't think he's like a real person. Like I feel like everything he does is an act. Like it's not it's never something he wants to do. It's something that like he has to do to show people something.
Dude, he's coach's pet. He's coach's pet with everything. That guy would drive me nuts.
It's like in the behind closed doors, Russell Wilson's just MRFing everyone in sight. But on the field, he's doing like the prayers and everything and whatnot. Which not begging on that, of course, but
yeah. And then
keep going, boys. I'm about to pee my pants, so I'll be back in 2 seconds.
yeah, pee your pants right here on live.
A quarterback that I don't know. It's hard with quarterbacks because like some of them are injury related. Mine's gonna be injury related. Trey Lance, who I drafted in one of my leagues, he got hurt week 2. He was just kind of going to be like seen as this guy who's going to be like Jalen Hurts from this past year, who gets a lot of rushing work. He's with Shanahan. Shanahan's never had a quarterback that can do a little bit of everything, and just season-ending injury week 2. Week 1, he played in like a pool. It was like a monsoon in Chicago, so you never really got to see like if he'd be good or not either. So that was a real bummer for me.
Right, Trey Lance was another guy that I think a lot of fantasy players paid up for too. Like he killed you if you didn't have a backup plan. But I think personally for me, like a disappointing QB. And it is a little tough with QBs, just how I play fantasy, I say. But Tom Brady, I think that he's been quite a disappointment for fantasy football. He used to be like the classic, last few years, the classic guy that, he's definitely a streaming option. If not, he's gonna the last 3 years, he has finished in like the top 5 or 6 overall QBs for fantasy. This year, he's just been so inefficient. Like he's had 2 games of over 50 passing attempts and 6 games of over 40 passing attempts, which just have turned into 14 fantasy points, 25 fantasy points, which is like standard, then 19, 13, 11, 17. And that just does not get the job done, especially when a lot of people just through the name drafted Tom Brady probably a little bit earlier than they should have, probably 8, 9, 10, something like that. When you
guys see Clint's comment on the thing?
Oh yeah, OJ over Russ. That was hilarious.
Yeah, no, Tom Brady. I'm always weary of old quarterbacks, but Tom Brady is always like his whole career has been different. Like he's been playing like amazing even in his old age. People kind of seen it with like Rodgers, like they were staying away from him in fantasy. Devontae gone, he's older, smart, but like people still believed in Tom Brady, and rightfully so. They should have. He still's got a good receiving core, O-line mixed up, but yeah, he's been very disappointing this year. Not due much to injury, just nothing's working much around him as far as
their O-line is dismantled.
Yeah, they lost a couple guys in the offseason, and then injuries killed their depth.
Yeah.
He does lead the league in the amount of time screaming at his O-line, though. I did see that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Cody, who did you say while I was in the bathroom? Trey Lance?
I said Trey Lance. Yeah, I drafted him in one of my leagues, and I thought like Yeah, okay. I'm not streaming quarterbacks this year. I hate it. I hate it. And this has been a terrible year to do it. All offenses have been bad.
It's been such a bad streaming year. This is the one year that I've actually paid up for QBs or kept Jalen Hurts. And one league I do have to stream, and it is a barren wasteland. Like there's no one to pick up. Like offenses are just so bad this year.
I go into every week praying like for my quarterback's performance, and I get nothing from it.
Geno Smith was the pickup.
He was, and I was told not to play him, and I dropped him, and he's just been balling. He's the MVP. I should have stuck with him.
So I was actually gonna mention one more guy. I don't know how you feel about it. He put up a couple of 20-point games, but dude, Justin Herbert's been so freaking disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was honestly
but it's
like number 2 on my list as well. I agree.
Yeah, he's been it, but I think it's only because Keenan Allen's been banged up and now Mike Williams. Like I think he's gonna be good towards the end of the season.
Well, yeah, and he was another guy. They were another team that's like dismantled with injuries. Like with John Slater, he's done for the year. Lindsley's out right now. That's like 2 of their like building blocks on that whole line. It's just not good. Austin Keys, and how we doing, brother?
There he is.
How you guys doing?
Good.
The number 2 overall seed in our fantasy football league, actually. Huh.
Dude,
That was tough. Josh Jacobs and the Raiders just decided to take a poo.
you're
Josh
fine,
Jacobs.
dude.
Yeah,
Dude, Josh Jacobs been carrying you.
right.
Should be interesting with all these trades, how that mixes up things.
Yeah, you finally got.
That was one of the picks or one of the guys this year where like us and everybody in any like fantasy community was like, yeah, not a fan of Josh Jacobs this year, and he just like, I got receipts, like I'm balling.
Right?
He should. He is. Him and Devontae are literally just the offense. Like Darren Waller hasn't really been performing up to like what you expected, and those 2 are carrying. They're 2 and 5, and they're carrying.
Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs were those running backs that I was just like, I'm absolutely not touching. But
You're
man,
right about one of them, kind of.
yeah, you got both of them on your team.
Wilson, and now it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
Jeff Wilson got traded.
I know
That's good.
Miami, but that'll be much. Just committee again.
Mhm.
So
Wide receivers.
Receivers, yeah, I got a big one. Because I had him. I might have to cut him in your league, Evan. Hunter Renfrow, what's going on, man? Like, are you good? Are you here from week to week? I expected him to be a wide receiver 2 after how he finished last week or last year, and I can't even play him on the flex. I'm thinking about cutting him. He doesn't get the work. Josh McDaniels is like the worst offensive mind I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how he has Darren Waller, Devontae Adams, and Hunter Renfrow and makes the offense worse than it was. The offense, they had a special teams coordinator, Rich Bisaccia, as their head coach last year, and their offense was better than it was under Josh McDaniels. There we go. Hunter Renfrow, thanks for nothing.
Honestly, I mean, when you first started out, I was like, you had really high expectations for Hunter Renfrow, apparently. But
That's
I mean,
what
it
I
makes
was
sense with the offense that should have been. I mean, Devontae's getting like 15 targets a game,
Mm-hmm.
insane like that. So there's not even looking at Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, like I expected something, maybe not like Elijah Moore, but like they had the same like similar kind of end of last year, like ending on a high note. They extended Hunter Renfrow, and now he's just like any old dude out there not getting the ball. he got hurt a couple games, but I mean, I was expecting like him to be kind of a steal for where I got him, and he just nope. That offense stinks.
I don't think I was as high on Hunter Renfrow as you were.
No.
I thought all the targets would go to Darren Waller, and obviously Devontae, but
I mean, I figured that they'd probably throw the ball like 40 times a game, and some would get to Renfro's way. being
Yeah.
being as like the third guy, and he's like not even a guy. So fuck Hunter Renfro.
I think one for me for sure is Michael Pittman Jr., wide receiver for the Colts. I mean, we kind of talked about the Colts offense already today a little bit, but besides week 1 and week 6, he is just not gone. I mean, he's only gotten an average of 7 fantasy points for you, which, if you remember, he was projected to be this incredible breakout guy. He was projected to be this, honestly, like a wide receiver 1, just with Matt Ryan coming in. I mean, a lot of it I don't think is really Michael Pittman's fault, but more of the situation that he's in. But I believe you probably had to draft him in like the 3rd, 4th round, 2nd, 3rd round, even.
Second. I mean, he was
Second
by
round.
the time if you were drafting late, he was going really high.
Right. So
I think it was 3rd round. I'm mistaken.
Round.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, all good. I mean, a 3rd round pick for a guy that's just barely getting over double-digit points on good games, I think is just extremely disappointing. I mean, I was super high on him, but fortunately, just not performing.
All right. Well, I wrote down a few more, but Allen Robinson was like, to me, like one of the biggest jokes of the like. I don't even know how I got fooled by that. That dude, that guy's pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, just no usage.
I should have known from last year, dude. I should have known. I only drafted him in 1 league, but I just dumped him to the waiver wire. I wasn't dealing with him again.
Right.
I actually lied. I did him in two leagues, but whatever. But yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this guy, but he better start. I think he started performing the last couple weeks a little bit, but I don't know what's going to happen with the Cooper Kupp injury. Maybe he'll get a couple more targets.
Cooper Kupp, I saw, will most likely be back. I don't think he's going to miss any time. But yeah, Allen Robinson, easily one of the biggest disappointments. Like only 2 double-digit games and a majority of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of the, basically half the season thus far has been under 5 points. So he's just straight up not usable.
No, you can't. It's like, why even keep him on your bench?
Oh yeah, no.
You're never gonna know when to play the guy.
Drop him.
Just dump him.
Wait until the Cooper Kupp news is official, but then drop him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet most people already dropped him, but yeah.
We have any other receivers we want to touch on?
I was just gonna say one from each of our team.
Yeah.
I was gonna say for where we drafted them all. I was gonna say Cortland Sutton. I mean, he did fine, but I thought he was gonna be this breakout like top 10 receiver. Like he's actually looks pretty solid. Like half the games, the last like few games he's been a dud, but I don't know. He's gotten like 12, 14, 16 points here and there, but I thought he was going to be putting up high numbers each and every week. And then I was going to say Brandon Cooks for you, Cody. He's a top 24 receiver every single the past like few years, hasn't shown up. And I thought Deontay for you, Ev.
Oh, Deontay Johnson. Yeah, he is. I mean, he still gets like plenty of targets, but they just are nothing. They're nothing targets. Like there's
I know.
There's nothing to do with them.
They'll probably he might be better now that Claypool's gone.
Right. One other guy that I think is worth mentioning that a lot of people were high on and drafted probably like in the 5th round, Michael Thomas.
Oh, I forgot about him, dude. How could I forget my IR spot?
Like a lot of people drafted him relatively high just based on past performance and plus cool Twitter name at Can't Guard Mike. It's strong, but he has not produced for you for your fantasy team or even for the Saints as a whole. I mean, he's injured again.
First few games, dude, he was putting up 20 points. He was going off, and then he just gets, dude. He's just fragile. This guy's just a fragile. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, that's so annoying. I hope he comes back though. I don't know what they're doing over there, and they're staying with Andy Dalton. What's that move for?
As long as they feed Chris Olave, which they have. Like I have a lot of shares of Chris Olave, so I'm doing just peachy over here.
All right.
Yeah, I think last week I picked up Jameis Winston because like, oh yeah, he's gonna be the starter. He's projected 18 points, and then like I spent $1 in like the fab money, and then like an hour later, Andy Dalton's gonna continue starting quarterback. I'm like, sweet, all right, awesome. There goes $1.
Good, great, grand.
Another guy that I'd say is Rashad Bateman. He's been like, he's probably like, I think he's ranked 57th in fantasy right now. He had 2 big first weeks. He had 15 week 1 and 22 week 2. And then after that, it's been below 7 points. He's been injured a little bit, but I remember a lot of people coming into this year with him being like one of the only options there after Hollywood was traded, him being like a league winner depending on where you got him, and he just hasn't been that because of some injuries or just not passing him the ball.
So I keep up with like this fantasy doctor guy, but I am really worried about Bateman not coming back this year, or if he does, just re-injuring it and being out for the year.
What was his injury again?
I think it's a Liz Frank injury in like that's like the middle part of your foot where it keeps the support. And
Those are always tough.
dude, if it's like a grade 1, you can work through it, but anything grade 2, they like shut you down for the season. So I'm really worried about Bateman. But dude, they need him because Lamar will not have his ceiling games without him.
Yeah. Or they just pass to Mark Andrews. I'd be fine with that as an owner of Mark.
You mean Isaiah Likely?
I was about to say Mark Andrews also kind of questionable for Monday.
I'm just kidding. But
that's for the last. That's what he's put me through the last 2 weeks. Oh man, I needed him bad a couple weeks ago.
I started him 2 weeks ago and nothing.
I needed him when I had Kupp and Justin Jefferson out in a must-win game. I needed him to have the year he's been having, and he put up a goose egg. 0. Zip, zilch, nada. And then he was questionable this past week, and I was like, thinking, maybe I play Likely here if he's out. No, he's in, and then he gets hurt like second quarter. Likely goes off. Sweet.
It's good to hear though that it's not a bad injury.
Yeah.
Should we just run through? Should we just run through like the 2 tight ends that everyone's disappointed about and get it over with?
Does anybody have any grievances to air out on Kyle Pitts?
I never drafted him.
I'll never. I mean, this is all you guys. I'd rather die than draft a tight end early. So.
In my head, I knew it. I knew it right away. I was like, it's Mark Andrews or it's Travis Kelce or nothing else.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Where's
Kyle Pitts? Kyle Pitts is truly the biggest drafting
blunder
disappointment for the tight end position for sure.
Waller.
Other than that, I mean, what else were you? I mean, Dalton Schultz maybe.
He was like 6th round. It's like I think he'll still end up being decent later on, but it's like, yeah,
right.
Waller,
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's really you can't really expect too much from a position that does only 2 players.
Waller's been really disappointing.
Yeah.
What about George Kittle?
George Kittle's been disappointing up until the past couple weeks.
Right.
But he's starting to turn it on now.
Like Kyle Pitts isn't even a top 50 tight end for fantasy right now, and he was drafted in the top 4 rounds, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is like the week where everyone was probably just like fed up with him and just put him to their bench, and then he scores a touchdown.
I mean, that's just what happens, right? Like, that's what always happens, and no matter who it is.
I guess another tight end to talk about that was a disappointment, other than Waller and Pitts, was Cole Kmet, only because the lack of weapons there, and people kind of thought that he could have one of those years as like a tight end because the lack of weapons the Bears have, or the lack of weapons the Bears don't have. But Waller and Pitts are the main 2 that have disappointed.
Yeah.
It's almost less like that classic saying of like when you're entering a season, like with Cole Kmet, and you have to convince yourself into drafting him. And that main conversation is, who else are they going to throw the ball to? And then the Bears come out and throw the ball 9 times a game, 11 times a game. It's
They're like, oh yeah, we'll just throw it to no one.
yeah, they can just not pass. Or when they do pass, they give it to like David Montgomery or Khalil Herbert.
Yeah.
Or Equinemius St. Brown.
That too. Shout out the St. Brown family. They're popping off.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Is that all the positions? Quarterback, running back,
Yeah.
receiver, tight end?
Yep.
What do you want to talk kicker?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Harrison
No,
Tucker.
this will be
I'll
fun.
give
This
you
will be a fun game. Name 3 kickers.
Mason Crosby,
Justin Tucker, Young Ho Koo.
Graham Gano, Younghoe Koo,
Look at that, boys. Wow.
Cody
Young Ho
Parkey.
Koo put up 14 for me last week. Cody Parkey is not on an NFL team.
Pick
Yeah,
kickers.
someone killed him by now.
Honestly, the only
He's
names I know of are guys that have like either like the best or have messed up like bad at
Yeah.
one point. Like Daniel
Yeah.
Carlson.
Dude, Evan McPherson, the
Yeah.
most alpha male kicker in the league, who just was a bum last game.
Yeah, last night he missed a few.
Yeah.
Eddie Pinero.
Who?
Eddie Pinero, the Panthers kicker, right? Ain't that his name?
Dude, that guy,
Blew them the game.
what a joke, dude. DJ Moore won the game, and I don't even fault him for ripping off that helmet. I would have been just
Yeah.
over.
Well,
like,
apparently he was off the field, so technically it shouldn't even have been a penalty.
I saw that too. Like, I don't know. That just reminded me of when Diggs hit that game-winning touchdown against the Saints in the playoffs. Rips off the helmet. Dude, that was pretty sick. But
Is he a disappointment for this year, DJ Moore?
DJ Moore,
Oh,
Yeah.
he's popping off now. Like last 2 weeks, he's had really good
PJ
games.
Walker?
dude,
PJ Walker.
you better stick with him for fantasy sake because we know that if Mayfield gets back in there, you got to trade DJ Moore. He's not.
If Baker gets back in, you could just drop DJ Moore.
Dude, he's been good with PJ Walker.
Mm-hmm. PJ to DJ.
Good one, Av.
Thanks. It's all in the stash.
All right, let's get the waivers.
Alrighty, waivers. It's getting pretty dry out here.
You want to start with QBs or what?
Yeah, we'll start with QBs. Looking
Yeah, there's
at
not
this,
much.
I would say personally, like a great who you need to be looking for. Well, Drew, you mentioned this guy before, so I'll let you take him. But another decent streaming option, I'm gonna say it would probably be Aaron Rodgers this year, or excuse me, this week against the Detroit Lions. Like he just routinely and throughout his entire career has carved them apart. So I think you can definitely look at him to what was that?
Keeson hated that take.
I think against the Lions and like
They're
you
going
said
up against
earlier,
a 1-6 team.
Yeah.
Maybe
He's gonna get all those passing yards and passing touchdowns.
Maybe Dobbs can make some spectacular catches.
Just kidding. I actually agree with you. Against the Lions, hell yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a
So-
good streaming option.
the question is, what week do you add Deshaun Watson?
What week is it now?
Depends what your team looks like.
If
If
you're thinking about adding Deshaun Watson, you need a quarterback.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think if you've got a good record in your league, I think you can add him now.
Like,
I
I don't
think
think I could. I don't think I could in Evans' league just because of the amount of bench spots. But in a league with
Yeah.
like an extra spot or two, you probably add and stash.
I did last week in one of my other leagues. I was like second in the league, and I just streamed No, actually, I drafted Russ again. So I basically am streaming quarterbacks all year. So I just picked him up, and I was like, I know I'm going to make playoffs.
I could not have said this before waivers hit tonight. If any of our leagues are listening, for Deshaun
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree, Drew. If you're pretty solid with where you are. Like you have a 5 and if you have at least like 5 wins, I'd say it's a good bet to maybe pick up Deshaun and just stash him.
I'd say most of the people that have all those high wins though have a good QB.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
Because the QBs have been basically a joke this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then a QB I got is Justin Fields. We talked about him a little bit. Offense is playing better. Playing Miami this week, and they've given up. Let's see, they're 26th, I think, in opponent ranked for giving up points to QBs. Justin Fields has looked a lot better the last 2 weeks. Who'd the Bears play this past week? Anybody know? I watched the game. Dallas, yeah. Going into that game, that was kind of a big test for them with Dallas's defense, right tackle being out. Fields looked good. Getsy looked like he was calling plays well. Justin Fields might be a good streaming quarterback this week, next week, the week after that.
Honestly, pick him up, and I think he's gotten 60 to 80 rushing yards the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's an incredible baseline. So even if he only throws like 1 touchdown for 140, like we've seen it before, that's a great fantasy football day for a QB.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, if you are streaming QBs, that'd be my top guy.
How much fab would you be willing to pay up for Justin Fields?
That's
if
tough.
let's say in the world
wait, are you thinking? Are you gauging us? Because like you might do it yourself.
I'm not dropping Jalen Hurts.
Okay, you
even
got
if I'm at gunpoint. So,
$7, $8.
Yeah, something like that.
Because I think he could be used like longer. I mean, they have to play the Lions still one game. I don't think they have that crazy hard of a schedule the rest of the way. The offense, I don't know. The way they played against Dallas, like, actually kind of impressed me. Dallas is has been a really good defense.
And if you're just streaming him for a week, I wouldn't dump a whole lot of fab on him. Like, let's say one of your QBs is on bye. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Like,
sorry. I meant for like pick him up.
If you need him,
like pick him up, play rest of the season.
$20.
Yeah, same. That's where I'm at too. $20 would be good.
Yeah.
Nothing will beat Clint's for Tua.
Yeah. Clint just dumped all 100. I'm kidding.
It was like a good $60.
No, it was
70. It was 70.
And I feel bad because me and Brandon both were like, "Yeah, we're thinking about getting him too."
Dude, I think Tua is going to be good though. So
yeah, he's been good.
All
All right, moving on to running backs.
Yep.
Another barren wasteland.
Yeah, running backs are so hard to actually pick one up and start this entire year.
Wow.
I would say Caleb Huntley is a solid option.
Yeah.
That you could pick up, and I mean he got a lot of work last week.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Algier is back now, but coming off an injury, maybe Tyler Algier won't get all of the work, but if you really need like a kind of a pinch start, grab Caleb Huntley, also running back for the Falcons in case you're unfamiliar. And you probably grab him and play him. May stumble into a touchdown to get you like 10-ish points, but something.
Yeah, that's just about it. Like anybody else, like Dontrell Hilliard, and you're hoping that like Derrick Henry dies. But I mean, Hilliard still gets some work. He gets like 9 or 10 touches a game, kind of. But man,
also, all my running backs I wrote down were just guys that kind of stash because there's nothing really out there right now.
Not the star.
I mean, Pacheco was on bye. I don't know. Maybe people didn't maybe pick him up. There was talks of him taking over the number 1 role. We didn't see much happen with that, but I don't know. They'll have some easy matchups coming up. But my one that you were talking about was Dontrell Hilliard. Yeah, you hope Derrick Henry goes down, and that guy's got a really good fantasy playoff schedule.
Yeah,
it's really good. I wrote down Deion Jackson too.
Also, Jalen Warren. I mean, Drew, you mentioned
Yeah.
him before, or I guess we all mentioned him when we talked about Najee, but Jalen Warren's probably a bit. I'm looking at our league right now, and he's available. He is on the bye, so I mean, if you want to stash him, you do have to kind of eat a week, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of potential in him being a week, or excuse me, like a league winning back if Najee just decides to miss time, or if he just keeps getting more and more work.
Dude, yeah, just shut that guy down for the season. That guy's a joke.
As I submit a $1 claim for Jalen Warren.
$2 claim for Jalen Warren. All right,
$3.10.
I've got everyone on bye and injured and stuff this week. I can't
Six.
do that.
6 teams on bye. Why does the NFL do that?
Yeah. It's like, do they not know we play fantasy football?
There's
Jeez.
only 2 3:00 games. Like, what is this?
Oh, who's the guy that I picked up? Here's another good one that's actually probably a good pickup is Kyron Williams for the Rams. He's coming back maybe this week.
Has he
And
been activated yet?
let me look. Maybe activated from injured reserve ahead of Sunday's game. So I think that's someone to look at because I mean it was like a 3 running back split between nobodies last game, and Cam Akers is never going to sniff the field again.
Do you think they'll just cut him?
I would. Guy sounds like he's got a bad attitude.
Love it.
Yeah.
I guess we can move on to receivers now. I'll start us off. I'll steal a pretty obvious one because it's what I like doing. Make you guys get the hard ones.
Sure.
He's in 47% of fantasy leagues, so he's in the waivers for half of leagues. And if you believe Aaron Rodgers is going to do good this week, it's going to be on the back of Romeo Doubs. He made a beautiful play last week. The only thing that gave me hope was that play. Like, I was on my deathbed, not enjoying that game, not enjoying football that day. And then that play happened, and it was like, sweet.
Like
Thank
the
you.
Undertaker meme.
Yeah.
You're back.
Where art thou, Romeo? And I mean, as long as he plays confident, I think he's going to be the only Packer receiver to start if you have to. That's just kind of a Packers fan's take. Take that with a grain of salt, but I'm in love with Romeo.
Yeah, if you're in a Packers league, you're not getting him, but everyone else watching, meaning like you're not going to get him because he's already taken. But any other fan bases, like he's definitely a good pickup.
What is Christian Watson just made of freaking glass, dude? That guy's such a joke, dude. Goes in the game and gets a concussion. Looks like he was just paralyzed first play.
Well, his brain did jiggle around in his skull.
I'll say this:
like none of us have played with a concussion. Does he not know we need to win?
Yeah.
Just
Does he not know that there's 3 guys with 3 viewers that are talking about him right now?
Like when it first happened, I was like, man, if this is like a thigh bruise, I'm gonna be mad. But like when it was a concussion, and then they showed the replay, I was like, all right, that kind of sucks.
Ooh,
but like,
yeah,
they miss him when he's not out there. They miss his speed so bad.
Yeah, they said they had a bunch of plays ready for him that game, and then just first play of the game.
yeah.
Yep.
I definitely have a wide receiver that you need to be looking at right now. Josh Palmer, if he's still on your waiver wire, you need to get him. He had he had a lot of work last week with just pretty much being the only receiver available for the Chargers. Look to pick him up. He should. I mean, again, he's available in our league that I just looked at right now. You need to pick him up. I am the Mike Williams owner. I mean, he's someone that I'll even be targeting to get. So definitely look for Josh Palmer, wide receiver for the Chargers, or as a good fantasy pickup this week.
I agree. For this week, I think he's gonna smash. Someone just for like a week Start right now for me would be who are the Chiefs playing this week? Tennessee. They got a really bad. You can pass on them a lot. You can't run on them that well. So I would say Mecole Hardman for this week until Kadarius Toney takes over. But I don't know. Mecole Hardman's been on the waiver wires quite a bit. I think you can grab him, and he's been really good the past few weeks. I think he scored a touchdown in the past couple or past 3.
Yep.
I think you can plug and play him this week for sure. I'm so excited to see Kadarius Toney on the Chiefs.
Same.
Miraculously healed his was it a hamstring?
I don't think they played him. I don't think they liked his attitude either.
Ah,
I think he probably wanted to play. I don't know. Or what was there something out on that?
if the Giants were bad or didn't feel right about Kadarius Toney's attitude, what is Kenny G still doing in the league?
Yeah, that guy. I forgot about him.
Right.
Uh,
One other wide receiver that I think is worth mentioning. Oh wait, Cody, did you say one?
no, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Nah, after you.
Oh, I didn't have one. I was just looking at the tight ends for the next position.
Oh. Cool. Then I'll just make this quick. Devin Duvernay, I think with Rashad Bateman missing and Mark Andrews either being banged up and or missing, Devin Duvernay will definitely be a good pickup and play, honestly.
Yeah, he gets rushing yards too sometimes.
Yep.
He had a rushing touchdown last game.
Yeah, that's right.
I think he was on a sweep or something. So those are always pretty cool.
Right, like he's kind of been used in like a Debo, I guess, ish.
You mean what Debo has not done this year anymore? Gosh, such a joke.
All right, you said tight ends.
Yeah, tight ends. And I laughed because I had no idea who the Lions' backup tight end was. Apparently, it's Brock Wright.
You're not going to tell these people to pick
No.
him up, are you?
No.
Brock? That guy sounds like he can't catch a ball
Brock
for the
Wright.
life of him.
Oh, he loves blocking. Like that dude loves brocking, I guess I should say. But
I like it.
Brock,
About
from Pokemon?
yeah.
About the only streamable tight end, I guess, would be Evan Ingram. Going against Las Vegas, they can't defend anything through the air. He's projected 7.4 for a streaming tight end. That's okay. He's done okay this year. I think he's ranked kind of decently high for tight ends. He's ranked 12th for total tight ends. He's been kind of on and off from week to week, but going against the Raiders, I like that matchup a lot.
Yeah, that's a good matchup.
I guess another one, Tyler Conklin, I guess.
I guess. Like, these options are terrible.
Well, the thing is, like, he's given me personally hand-delivered 2 goose eggs on the year thus far. So, I mean, you're really not getting much from him when it's just tight ends are just silly. But yeah, I guess I would suggest Tyler Conklin, tight end for the Jets. Buffalo's defense, I mean, typically, I guess they're pretty good against the receivers, especially. So maybe there's some tight end possibility there. But I mean, best of luck. Tight ends are silly.
I think there's one out there that could be an absolute smash, and probably he's
probably the best option.
Huh?
Probably the best option if it's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, is Isaiah Likely.
Oh, somebody else would go ahead.
I think he's worth it to just go for your waivers and pick him up. And I mean, if Mark Andrews doesn't play, dude, he's a smash.
Yep.
But they said he seems all right, but I don't know if he's going to play this week. He's a bum the last 2 weeks, but I think it's worth the pickup right now to just wait and hope.
One guy that is in only a third of fantasy leagues, which is kind of wild at this point, especially with the landscape that tight end is Greg Dulcich. He's put up 10 points last week and then 11 points, I think, 2 weeks before that. He's played 3 games and he's the 26th ranked tight end already. So yeah, go get that guy. I think He'd be good whether it's a backup or Russ in there, depending on if Russ is healthy, if he's dealing with
Dude,
his injuries or whatever.
I think Russ likes him, dude. I feel
Which
like
is wild
that guy's
because
probably
Russ doesn't throw over the middle, but yeah.
Yeah, Dulcich is probably was picked up like last week or the week before.
In a lot of good leagues, yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, if you got
If you're
you got
looking
idiot
for
league, mate.
if you're looking for any other tight ends, good luck, because they're probably not going to get you much.
Yeah, don't even bother.
Nope.
Taysom Hill. That's what I've been riding with.
I think that'll wrap it up for today. Beautiful live. Great having you back, Ev.
Yeah, dude, you look good down there.
Good to be back. Honestly, it's been a minute. So hopefully can for the rest of the season join these. Like work isn't that busy or as busy. So I should be able to join a few more, but it's good talking ball.
Always good talking ball. Have a good one, fellas.
All right, later.
See you boys.
Later, guys.
Easy.
Bye.